First of all, I think we're starting in a positive in the sense that personally I know Christophe Hansen very well. We were in the trade committee for 10 years. We worked very closely together. He comes from a small country, Luxembourg. He comes from a family background. He understands farming in our side of the world. Whereas the previous commissioner, I'm sorry to say, hello was about as much as I got to know him during the 5 years. And I think we have a very useful opportunity now to put forward the real concerns of Irish agriculture in particular to a man who will listen to us, who will be understanding of where we're coming from, and I think who will be able to affect change in Europe in a positive way because of the influence he will bring through his own personal experience, but also, of course, being part of the EPP group, who are by far and away the largest group in the Commission. So I think they're positives which we need to look at and to utilise so that we can get the best possible deal for agriculture over the next number of years.
Well, he comes across as competent. We met him in advance of the hearings. We did discuss many of the important issues that are relevant to Ireland. So the nitrates derogation, for example, was a key issue, the Mercosur agreement. But beyond that as well, to ensure the strategic dialogue that we engaged with over the last number of months, consulting with stakeholders, farmers, the broader agri-food industry, and the politicians themselves to ensure that when we are bringing forward policies, we're not overly burdening farmers with regulation. And we have to be very conscious of that. That was one of the biggest issues that was raised during the European elections, and Commissioner Hansen is quite aware of that now. And I hope that he acts on that to ensure that when policies are being formulated, an assessment is made of whether or not there is a huge burden being placed on farmers by regulation or not. And that's a key issue. But beyond that, we have to ensure that, farmers are rewarded for their work, their effort and their investment. And we need to ensure that there is supports in place in terms of the Common Agricultural Policy Review and the upcoming discussions on that, to ensure that we have pillars of funding available, both for the production side and equally for the environmental side. So that's a key issue. That's a key ask that we raised with Commissioner Hansen in advance of the hearings when we met him recently as Fianna Fáil MEPs.
On this committee, my focus was around generation renewal. If that had come up, bear in mind I was an hour 2 and nearly hour 3 block of the questioning. I really wanted to focus on mental health. That's something I have made a political priority this last mandate, and of course in this mandate coming. I had checked with him if that was a feasible question, because for some, lived experiences look very different on very different people, but he was enamored that I wanted to ask that. And the question I posed was around the work that UCD do, in particular Dr. Tomas Russell and Professor Louise McHugh, showing that just last year close to 23% of our farmers are at risk, and outlying they're at risk of suicide. And in addressing that, I asked him what tools, what funding, what resources can he ensure mental health would be a political priority. And he came back in quite a phenomenal answer, a very passionate answer. Himself has had a brother who's a farmer who unfortunately lost his life through an accident. And he talked about the comprehensive pressures he had, be it financial, be it agriculture, be it farmers 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and the pressures that came for it. So a brilliant lived experience answer, and ultimately from that we got a sense that he will make sure mental health is a political priority in these next years.